Welcome back to the London studio, and welcome to this session which is focused on the tricuspid valve. The tricuspid valve has long been overlooked by clinicians, by interventional cardiologists, and even by cardiac surgeons. And as a consequence of the renewed focus on cardiac imaging and the advent of new transcatheter technologies, the tricuspid valve is set to take centre stage as the next phase of the evolution of transcatheter valve techniques. PCR has been very keen to take a leadership and a focused interest in this area, and we're very pleased to announce the development and the inception of the PCR Tricuspid Valve Focus Group, which is under the leadership of Francesco Mezzano and Fabian Praz. And I'm very pleased that both of them are here with me for this announcement session to set out the scope of the group and its goals over the coming years. So Francesco, firstly, tell us a little bit about the objectives and what you feel is the scope of this group as it sets out on its journey.
Thank you, Bernard. Thank you for the opportunity to share with our community the scope of the focus group on tricuspid interventions. The focus group is established to answer some open issues in the field of tricuspid interventions. And as we all know, tricuspid interventions are dealing with the forgotten valve. In this field, there is need for alignment. There is need to unify practice to allow exchange of ideas among different physicians coming from different backgrounds. So the idea is to facilitate innovation through the exchange of knowledge and to create a network of physicians who have the same interest for this valve and for all the physiopathology which is associated with tricuspid disease.
And my understanding is that this is an international multidisciplinary group. And Fabian, can you tell us how this is going to be organised and populated at an infrastructural level?
Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, Francesco. It's also a very great pleasure for me to present a bit the structure of the focus group. You mentioned it. We have many experts. We have a team of people working with us. We are just with Francesco. We try to organize a little bit the work, but that's really the team and the people around doing this work. And what we have done, we have defined 5 different working groups. The main topic of it have been defined from the beginning, and our goal was really to cover all the important areas of this intervention, but not only, also of the treatment of this patient and of imaging and anatomy. And, the goal of this is to have actually different topic treated by this different group to achieve a common message. And as you can see, this topic has been defined by the groups, and the anatomy will, for example, deal with the nomenclature of the tricuspid valve, with the definition of it, and with interventional imaging. The interventional group will look more into device and procedure, patient selection. The patient care pathway group will look into the definition of what is a center with expertise in tricuspid valve, what are the pathway of this patient, what are the workups of this patient. Then we will have a group looking into endpoint definition, into the impact of the natural history of the disease on outcomes, and also improvement on already existing registry and also new project. And the last group, which is also a very extremely important one, is the innovation with an outlook into new areas in terms of imaging and procedure for tricuspid valve disease.
And if we could just advance the slide there, I think you'll see some of the important faces that are involved in the project, some of whom you will recognise, all leaders in their fields, with huge experience and a huge interest in pushing this programme forward. And Francesco, this is clearly going to be a very comprehensive and ambitious programme. It won't have immediate wins. There will be longer-term objectives, I'm sure. Can you lay out the programme perhaps over a 2 to 5 year interval?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Bernard, to put this into focus, because As you can imagine, we have a very large group of experts working in the working group. I would like also to mention that this group of experts is an open group. It's open to anybody who will like to join us in this journey. And we thought it was important to establish a midterm to long-term project, setting some milestones, let's say. We have an immediate milestone by the end of the year, and basically our deadline will be London Valves. In PCR London Valves, we will probably share with the community the results of our first objective, which has been alignment. As you can imagine, the tricuspid intervention field is interacting with a number of different fields, a number of different experts. There are different pathologies, different boundaries. Let's imagine how many patients with tricuspid regurgitation are seen in the electrophysiology pathways, which are not coming to the attention of the structural interventionists. Let's imagine heart failure. Let's imagine how many patients are going to surgery and having this kind of problem. So there are a lot of different stakeholders, let's say, in this field, and there is probably need for alignment between the different fields of expertise. We need to unify nomenclature. We need to clarify the details of these pathologies, put some order. So the first effort will be the alignment among physicians coming from different backgrounds. And therefore, after we will find this alignment, we will be able in the next years to raise awareness in the community. And finally, hopefully, we will help industry, physicians, the overall community to implement what we learned in our standard practice to create a new standard of care. That's our 5 years goal, to help tricuspid interventions become standard of care and help improving health and quality of life in our patients.
So thank you very much, Francesco and Fabian, for outlining the details of this very important initiative. You've highlighted specifically that this is an open access group, and I would encourage all those of you who are interested in being involved and contributing to consult for more details on the PCR online platform. You've also seen the Twitter handle advertised on the final slide, and I'm sure you will all join me in wishing great success to the team in this very important endeavour.